welcome to our Fuck Visibility Trans Liberation Seder. Can we get like, I hope that all of you who celebrate have been having a wonderful peysakh, and those of you who don't are gonna like have a nice time and maybe learn something about how Passover goes, or how we do Passover anyway, which is not necessarily the way that other people do it. I'm just gonna start with a few kind of like really basic content note, information, access stuff so that everybody is aware. And if you've got any questions, then just like shout. First of all, this is a very like interactive event that is by design. You are very, very encouraged to ask questions and to like shout stuff out. Like I said earlier, we're gonna invite lots of people to read on the Zoom and in the cafe. So like you're very much encouraged to participate as much as you want to. If you don't want to at all, that's totally fine as well. The event is going to be about 3 hours long with a 1 hour break in the middle when we have dinner. But we will serve you some food before that. As I mentioned before, we're recording. So if you on the Zoom don't want your voice or your image captured, then please have your microphone and your video turned off. We have live captioning in English by Rocky Cohen, and the chat moderators, of which we have two, have the word mod at the beginning of their name. So if you have any issues with anything, then please direct message them. Obviously, no bigotry will be tolerated. If anybody messages you inappropriately, just tell a mod and they will step in to offer support. Please keep it family friendly. Non-graphic discussion of sex is okay. We will have some breakout rooms during dinner for those of you in the Zoom, including a flirty breakout room for people who are 18 and over. Those of you who are in the cafe, you should have also gotten the Zoom information. So if you want to like interact with the Zoom audience, you can do that on your phone and like be part of the chat. That is super encouraged. We're collapsing time and space here. So like, meet people around the world. The first section of the Seder has some like heavy and sad content where we remember those we've lost and we vent our frustrations of the world. But the majority of the event is still kind of like tinged with anger, but it's also uplifting and empowering and joyous. You're invited to get as vulnerable as you want, no more, no less. And we've done our best to sort of content note for potentially triggering things ahead of time. So general content notes for this sort of night are themes of intergenerational trauma, slavery, the Khorban or the Holocaust, transphobia, food and alcohol mentions, loss and death, and the struggle for liberation. Our Seder allows for participants to drink water or juice or wine. Wine is traditional. We are not serving any wine in the cafe. We don't do that as a dry cafe. We've got lots of different kinds of juice for you to choose from, or some water. We just want to remind those of you in the Zoom to be sensitive to the fact that like a lot of people who are here are not going to be drinking. So like, please keep the booze chat to a minimum. And our food is vegan, but if you're not here in person, like you eat whatever you want. Okay, that is it for the housekeeping. Can we turn the page on the Zoom, please? So again, if you'll turn to, no, keep going. To page 1 in the Haggadah. Yes, I think we should read this. I will start reading, but then think about if you want to read, because I'm going to ask people to read. This is for those of you on the Zoom as well, because I'm going to ask people to read and then I'm going to pass the mic to you. So like, be ready for when I ask for that. Excuse me. Okay, so this is just a quick about this Haggadah. Now we turn to memory. We search all the days we had forgotten for a tradition that can support our arms in such a moment. If we are a free people, we are also free to choose our past at every moment, to choose the tradition we will bring to the future. We invoke a rigorous positive that will enable us to imagine our choices and to make them. Most of what we know, we who compiled this Haggadah, know about Jewish practice we learned as adults. We are familiar with the particular frustration and embarrassment that can arise from not knowing your own culture, not knowing how or what to ask. Ask, but do not stop there. Do not accept tradition without examining it with your own intellect and judgment. Okay, who would like to do some reading? Anybody in the cafe want to read? Okay, amazing.
We live in bad times. A greatest hits list. Climate change is at a crisis point. The UK is somehow even more transphobic than it was before. Fortress Europe stops refugees from entering, and detention centers stop them from moving. Indigenous people everywhere are struggling for basic rights. Sex work is criminalized. Capitalism is still crushing our throats with its nasty boot. Fascism is on the rise. And to top it off, there is still a fucking global pandemic on. The Jewish establishments here and abroad remain right-wing, pro-occupation and pro-war. But, quote, we refuse to give up our vision of a liberatory Judaism. We refuse to give up the right to engage with, transform, and reclaim our traditions, and to create the loving and inclusive cultures we know they can be, and we refuse to do this alone, end quote.
See if anyone else wants it.
Anybody else? Oh.
May our peysakh seder be joyous and soulful. May it have moments of loudness and moments of quiet. May it create a space for feeling the pain of our own oppression and that of others. And may it create a space to celebrate the liberation we've won and the liberations we will win. May our seder lean on the past and branch out into the future. But may it be rooted in the present. May it be diasporist. May it be revolutionary. May we all live in a better world next year, free from oppressions, and may we all work to create that world. What is a seder? Seder means order in Hebrew and Yiddish. The Pesach Seder is a dinner theater, and Haggadah is the script. Each year, we tell the story of the liberation of the Jewish slaves from Israel, quote, the narrow place. Pesach is naturally the highlight of the year for lefty Jews, the Chag of liberation. It is a festival both of celebration and of mourning and struggle. The Seder takes us through the story of the oppression and the liberation of our ancestors. We are invited to rejoice in our freedoms while holding close the stories of those who are still not free and the ways in which we are still not free. Quote, the whole point of the Seder is to ask questions. This is your time to ask about things that confuse you, things you don't understand, or even things you don't agree with. There really is no such thing as a stupid question, especially tonight. Anyone else want to read?
Would someone from the Zoom like to read? If you do, just unmute yourself. Or don't. Go ahead.
Questions are not only welcome during the course of the evening, but are vital to tonight's journey. Our obligation at the Seder involves traveling from slavery to freedom, prodding ourselves from apathy to action, encouraging the transformation of silence into speech, and providing a space where all different levels of belief and tradition can coexist safely. Because leaving Mitzrayim, the narrow places, the places that oppress us, is as personal as well as a communal passage. Your participation and thoughts are welcome and encouraged.
Okay, so let's skip this page. So how to read from the Haggadah. Basically, the bright yellow stuff is content notes. As I already said, like, please take turns reading and leading. Everyone is invited to read the blessings together. There are different versions of the brachas or blessings. We've got different gendered pronunciations. We've got the traditional English translation and then a godless English translation. So if you are reading the blessings, just pick one of those and read it, and it'll be a bit chaotic because we'll all be reading something different, but that's fine. You don't need to read the footnotes or the image captions aloud. The parts in pink and bold are instructions. Please read those aloud. And like we said, Peysach's all about questions. So I think we're asking people to write down the questions for during dinner, unless you think it's just real good, and then go ahead and like interrupt the service. But otherwise, keep your questions for dinner. Questions about Peysach? Wait a minute, go back. Thank you. Questions about Peysach? Brilliant, good. We wrestle with our history and the idea of God. Questions about trans stuff from cis people? Not tonight. Would someone like to read this? In cyberspace, would someone like to read this?
I will. Hi, Misha.
Hello.
Hi, it's Kay. A note about God. We have sometimes observed the cultural convention of replacing the O in the word God with a dash. This is intended to keep the name of the divine holy in case something bad happens to your piece of paper. Many of us find the words and concepts used to describe God to be alienating, oppressive, or meaningless. Judaism, like Islam, has many different and ancient words to attempt to describe our most personal experiences of awe and sacredness. We use many of these terms in this Haggadah and encourage you to improvise with this text. Use whatever words resonate for you to describe what is meaningful and holy in the universe. Hashem, the name. Hamakoim, forgive my pronunciation, the space. Shekinah, indwelling presence, feminine aspect of the divine. Sur, rock. Rahmana, compassionate one. Ea Asher Ea, I will be what I will be. Shalom, peace, wholeness. Malka, queen. Ein Sof, infinite one. Yesod, foundation.
Okay, now we start for real. The seder
begins.
So we're gonna sing a song together. It's called Hine Matov. I know that some of you know it, and those of you who don't, that's fine. It's real easy. So let's sing it through twice so that people can like pick it up. If you are in Zoom, I think keep yourself muted. Otherwise, we'll get a weird lag. But there will be other times when we ask you to unmute and say stuff with us. Okay, so if you know it, please do sing it with me, because otherwise it's weird for me to just be alone. Hine matovu manayim sheves kulam gam yahed. Hine matovu manayim sheves kulam gam yahed. Hine matov sheves kulam gam yahed. Hine matov sheves kulam gam yahed. Hine matov umanayim sheves kulam gam yahed. Hine matov umanayim sheves kulam gam yahed. Hine matovu manayim sheves kulam gam yahed. Hine matovu manayim sheves kulam gam yahed. Hine matov sheves kulam gam yahed. Hine matov sheves kulam gam yahed. Hine matov umanayim sheves kulam gam yahed. Hine matov umanayim sheves kulam gam yahed. Oh, that was really, really lovely. So now we have a blessing for trans. This we're going to read aloud, but like I said, just pick one of the translations or interpretations. There's a trans-specific interpretation that I encourage the trans among us to read, but you pick whichever one you want. So let's all just read it read it together. You can unmute yourself if you want to, and it will be a cacophony of blessings. Ready? Okay. Holy and blessed are we,
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam.
Excellent. I think that was a success. Would somebody like to lead the Dalai Police Brocha? Okay, I will do it. So again, just pick one of these and read it aloud with me. Okay. Blessed are we who follow paths of holiness, who command ourselves to justice, and no justice, no peace.
Justice, no peace. Nicht kein Tzadek, nicht kein.
Can I get a page turn, please? Thank you. I would really like for somebody else to read at least part of this. This is the first trans poem. You don't have to be trans to read the trans poem. Thank you.
I'll do it. Every 2 years, a trans person.
By Amy Marvin, Philadelphia, 2020. Every 2 years, a trans person who came out 2 years ago declares herself an old school transsexual. Every trans elder is like so old now, in their 30s or even late 20s. Every rich trans person who just came out is the new hope for trans people, the one to really get this right. Every trans person who got a media job invented gender fluidity a year ago. Every trans person who tracked tenure before transing out is the leading intellectual. Every trans person speaks for every trans person, which is to say, there is only one trans person. Every decade is a new trans moment. The first trans literature, the first talk show interview, the first trans billionaire, the first transsexual polemic, the first arrival of trans arrival. Every older transsexual is problematic. Every trans discourse is the new discourse. Every trans joke is the new joke, told over and over.
Would somebody else read the blessing over the candles so that I can light the candles without also holding a microphone? Is that a yes? That's okay. That's okay. Let's see if this will reach. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Thank you. Shelly Yom Tov.
Shelly Yom Tov.
Yeah, yeah.
You want to light it? Amen.
Thank you. I'm going to read the bit at the top I forgot to read before. Candlelight symbolize an end to winter, a beginning of spring, and a long history of struggle against oppression. We must join with all oppressed peoples, honoring both our differences and our need to work together for the future. Those of you in the Zoom, this was a good time to light your candles. Can I get a page turn? Thank you. Would anyone else like to read?
I can read.
Thank you. You don't have to.
The first night of Pesach 1943 was the Warsaw Ghetto uprising. Unable to take the ghetto by military force, the Nazis destroyed the ghetto in desperation, brick by brick. With the Warsaw Ghetto in flames, the fighters turned to guerrilla activity and lived in underground bunkers. When the bunkers were dynamited, the Jews fought from the sewers, and when the poison gas poured on the sewers, the survivors struggled on amid the charred rubble of the ghetto. Sporadic skirmishes continued over the next several months. It took Hitler longer to subdue the Jews of Warsaw than to conquer all of Czechoslovakia and Poland. The Jews didn't fight to save their lives, but gave them, so that history would record that tyranny was opposed. Let us observe a moment of silence.
Can I get a page turn? Thank you. Somebody else please read. Otherwise it'll just be me all night.
As we bathe in the light of these candles, we remember all the candles we've lit as Jews and as trans people. Shabbos candles, Traniversary candles, Yahrzeit candles, candles at AIDS vigils, at Trans Day of Remembrance vigils, at Take Back the Night marches. We rededicate the flame each of us carries within, that small reflection of light that is ours to use as a beacon in the work of Tikkun Olam. We rededicate this small spark to fulfilling our mitzvahs, our desires, our righteous rage. Should I continue?
Yeah.
Blessed is the match consumed in kindling the flame. Blessed is the flame that burns in the secret fastness of the heart. Blessed is the heart with strength to stop its beating for honor's sake. Blessed is the match consumed in kindling the flame. Under the Nazis, queers were forced to wear a pink triangle in the death camps. Today, we wear this as a symbol of queer resistance. Rabbi Alexander Schindler said, a generation ago, many in this room would have been wearing the pink triangle as a badge of shame and a mark of death. Today, we wear it as a badge of honor and resistance and identity. Blessed are those who have been marked in all times and all places. May they always be remembered through us in our lives.
If somebody else on the Zoom wants to read, please just start.
Can I read? I can read in French. Sous le masque, un autre masque. Je n'en finir pas de soulever tous les visages. Should I keep going or?
Yeah, please keep going.
Okay. Do we define ourselves or are we defined by the cis case? The benefits of visibility are only afforded to a few of us. Those of us who are white, wealthy, young, healthy, respectable, and attractive. Fuck this. We are tired of hiding ourselves for our safety. We are bored of constantly coming out. We are no longer accepting marketing as representation. This is for all to read together, no?
Yes, let's all read.
On three. 1, 2, 3. We all come forth from the words and wisdom of the ancestors and the elders of our community. Often ignored or forgotten, we honor our whole heritage and indulge in glorious for the future. Okay. Which one's
Moose and Lyman, do you want to read?
Yes. Let us read a blessing together. Baruch ha'oyer bo'olam. Baruch ha'oyer shebekoil echad. Baruch ha'oyer ha'atid. Baruch ha'oyer shel peysakh.
Go ahead. Yeah.
שהחייסנו וקיימסנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Can I have yes? So everybody in the cafe should have a cup, and now our wonderful workers are going to come and offer you some. What do we have? We've got grape, cranberry, and black currant and pomegranate juice, and we've also got water. So let them know what you want as they come around. For those of you on the Zoom, we're just going to take a moment to make sure to get everybody their juice, and then we will continue with the first cup. If you would like to read, please put your name in the chat so that I can I think that will help us go a little bit smoother. Please read with us. It's really, really nice. If you want to read and you've already done it, that's totally fine, because it seems like people are shy. So, okay, thank you, Hannah. Also, thank you so much for being here with us. I'm gonna you're having a secret Zoom moment with me while they all get their juice. Oh, amazing. Thank you so much, Emily and Joseph. If Hannah, if you want to read the first cup, and then Emily, you want to, I don't have the Haggadah in front of me, but you want to read the, actually, just give me a second. So, yeah, Hannah, if you read the first cup, and then if Emily, you read, no, actually, I'm going to read the hand washing. But Emily, if you read Carpus, and then Joseph, if you read wine orange on the seder plate, that's quite a long one, but oh, thanks, Jeremy. Does that sound okay? I'm going to assume that that's okay. Liz and Leah, if you could read the blessing for queers, and then that would be really brilliant. And then if anyone else wants to also read, please just pop your name in the chat, say you want to read, and that would be amazing. Thank you so much. Please do. Yeah, can I just have some water? Thanks so much.
Nisha, if you can just let me know when to start. It sounds like they're still serving people in the cafe.
Your teenage child playing drums is just contributing in their own way to this seder. Okay, I think everyone has juice now. Does everybody have juice or water yet? Is anybody wait? Do you need some? Does anybody need some? I need juice. Okay. All right, just a minute. Just a minute. I will show the Zoom people. Here are our candles. Oh,
lovely.
Candles. I'm gonna mute my. It's already muted.
Right.
Okay, candles.
The first.
I will turn the camera around later to show the cafe after I give everybody a warning to cover their faces or hide if they don't want to be on camera. So don't worry, I'm not going to turn the camera, but people want to see your lovely faces, which is really nice. Okay. Hannah, we're ready for you to read now.
The first, a blessing for the ancestors. The dead should not be excluded from any celebration. From Der Book, adapted by Tony Kushner. Pour yourself a cup of water, juice, or wine. Don't drink it yet. The water is clear to remind us of our historical invisibility. The juice or wine is murky, like the murkiness of history, lives seen and unseen. We drink tonight to those who were left out of the stories of our people. We drink to those who labored to restore their memories. Close your eyes and focus on your breathing. Draw to your mind your chosen ancestors, genetic or spiritual. Imagine them in the different places they lived, the lands and seas they traveled, by choice and for their lives, in freedom and enslaved. Imagine them holding what was precious to them. Imagine this gift coming down through the generations to you. Imagine the places they were hurt, and take a moment to feel the body of your ancestors, its stitches and its scars. Thank them for the parts of your heritage you love, and forgive them for the pain. Now visualize yourself as the ancestor of the generations to come. Accept their gratitude and forgiveness. Everyone, open your eyes and we'll read together. We invite our ancestors into the room. We honor you and we forgive you. Thank you for bringing us to this moment. May our lives contribute to the healing of all our peoples and of all the worlds. And all of the worlds. Nevarech et ein hayakim, yozer et chalam, borei mayim chaim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hakafen. For those with juice or
wine. Can I have the microphone? Okay, so for those of you in the cafe, we're gonna do the hand washing in the bathroom, which is just here. So because that makes more sense than what I'm gonna say for the people on the Zoom, which is like maybe they have a sink, or maybe they've got a bowl with like ritualistic hand washing jug. So I just want to let you know that before we start. So after I finish reading this bit, then please make your way to the bathroom to wash your hands quietly. Okay. Hand washing is a sacred act of preserving life, of protecting ourselves and our neighbors. The first hand washing will take place in silence. In this silence, we reflect on the ways we have protected ourselves and our communities. None of us had asked to be in this position during a plague. Allow yourself to feel pride in all the sacrifices that you have made to keep people safe and to preserve life.
The carpus reminds us of spring. Winter is over and nature is bursting with new life, green leaves and baby animals. The bud of revolution is blossoming. In this moment of growth and rebirth, we dip the carpus in salt water to represent the tears of our ancestors enslaved. The salt water is touched by the carpus to remind us that tears stop, spring will come. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri ha'adamah. And we dip our carpus into the salt water.
If you can hear me, I'm ready to read when you give me the go-ahead.
Okay. Joseph, I think you were going to read the orange on the seder plate.
Yes. Orange. So, why an orange on the seder plate by actual 5 April 2001, context note. In the early 1980s, college.
Hang on, everybody in the cafe, there's somebody on the Zoom who's trying to read us the next part, which is the orange on the seder plate. But hang on, we have tech issues. Sorry.
Someone's not talking. Can you mute?
Okay, I'm sorry, we're ready now.
Okay. Why an Orange on the Seder Plate by Susanna Heschel, 5 April 2001. Content note for misogyny. In the early 1980s, the Hillel Foundation invited me to speak on a panel at Oberlin College. While on campus, I came across a Haggadah that had been written by some Oberlin students to express feminist concerns. One ritual they devised was placing a crust of bread on the seder plate as a sign of solidarity with Jewish lesbians. There's as much room for a lesbian in Judaism as there is for a crust of bread on the seder plate. At the next Passover, I placed an orange on one of our family's seder plates. During the first part of the seder, I asked everyone to take a segment of the orange, make the blessing over the fruit, and eat it as a gesture of solidarity with Jewish lesbians and gay men, and others who are marginalized within the Jewish community. I mentioned widows in particular. Bread on the seder plate brings an end to Pesach. It renders everything chametz, and it suggests that being lesbian is transgressive, violating Judaism. I felt that an orange was suggestive of something else, the fruitfulness for all Jews when lesbians and gay men, and transes and bis and aces are contributing and active members of Jewish life. In addition, each orange segment has a few seeds that had to be spit out, a gesture of spitting out, repudiating the homophobia of Judaism. When lecturing, I often mentioned my custom as one of the many new feminist rituals that have been developed in the last 20 years. Somehow, though, the typical patriarchal maneuver occurred. My idea of an orange and my intention of affirming lesbians and gay men were transformed. Now the story circulates that a man said to me that a woman belongs on the bima as an orange on the seder plate. A woman's words are attributed to a man, and the affirmation of lesbians and gay men is simply erased. Isn't that precisely what's happened over the centuries to women's ideas? Would you like me to recite the blessing for queers as well?
I think someone else was going to. Liz
Excellent.
or Leah, but if they don't do it, then you do it.
Right here, I'm just arranging technology. Feel the orange sugar. As Jews and trans people, we constantly recreate ourselves. Like the orange, we carry the seeds for our own rebirth. Baruch haya Shekhinah Elokeinu Malchus Ha'olam Boreis Pri Ha'ed. Let's our leaves enjoy fruit from the tree.
So sorry, we've got to figure out a way that I can let you know that I'm about to talk before I do that. For those of you in the cafe, I should have mentioned before, but I got flustered from tech stuff. You can eat the salad now. That's the carpus course to tide you over before the main meal. And now you're also, in case you didn't catch it, please have a segment of orange unless you don't want to or you're allergic. And then we will sing Bread and Roses, and but you can be eating throughout the rest, eat your salad throughout the rest of the Seder as we continue on. Are you gonna do Bread and Roses for us? Do you want to come up? Do you want here, let me give you the microphone.
As we go marching, marching in the beauty of the day, a million darkened kitchens, 1,000 mill-lofts gray, are touched with all the radiance that a sudden sun discloses. For the people hear us singing, bread and roses, bread and roses. As we come marching, marching, we battle for man. For they are in the struggle, together we will win. Our day shall not be sweated, from birth until life closes. Hearts starve as well as bodies. Give us bread, but give us roses. As we come marching, marching, unnumbered women dead, go crying through our singing their ancient song of bread. Small art and love and beauty, their trudging spirits knew. Yes, it is bread we fight for, but we fight for roses too. As we come marching, marching, we bring the greater days, the rising of the women, the rising of the race. No more the drudge and idler tend that soil where one reposes, but a sharing of life's glories, bread and roses, bread and roses. That was so nice. Do we have any takers for reading The Blessing Over Flowers? Amazing.
Peysakh, Blessing Over Flowers. Our seder plate replaces a traditional egg with a flower, representing the cycles of life. Jewish tradition honors the delicious and essential, along with the mystical and esoteric. We are reminded not to feel guilty, but to honor the delights of the earth and the flesh, enjoying what is beautiful in this life as integral to our political and personal liberation struggles. It sustains us and reminds us of the world that we are fighting for.
Yes.
Baruch
Adonai Elokeinu melech haolam, sheloi chesed v'lomei davar, uvara voi leriz v'yuveis eloveis tohim lechanois v'cham b'nai adam. Okay. Does anybody want to lead the International, or shall I do it? So, in our Haggadah, we have the International in Yiddish and in English. If you know it in a different language, you're very encouraged to sing it in whatever language you like. I'm going to sing it in Yiddish, which is a bit, I'm not going to lie, it's a little bit clunky. We're going to try to make it work. But go ahead and sing in English if the Yiddish is not comfortable for you. Hang on a sec, I just need a moment. Okay. Schaft euch für alle, wir wie schlafen, in Hunger leben wir sind neu. Der Geist, der kocht, der hilft sie waffen, in Schlacht uns für sehr Great. Die Welt von Gewalt hatten in Leiden, zerstören wollen wir in dann. Für Freiheit, Gleichheit, Ganheiten, beschaffen wird der Arbeitsmann. This is the chorus now. Who's wird sein, schon der Letzter, in entscheidener Streit. Mitten international, steigt auf der Arbeitsleid. Was wird sein, schon der Letzter, in entscheidener Streit, mitten international, steigt auf ihr Arbeitsleid. Nein, keiner wird uns nicht befreien, nicht Gott allein, nicht kein Held. Mit unser eigenem Kleid sein,
der Lesung klangen mir der Welt. Ab dem Jochen hingelitten, genick vergossen, Blut in Schweiß. Ses Blut des Feier, lo mir schmitten, zusammen das ein ist noch heiß. Was wird sein, schon der Letzte, in entscheidender Zeit, mitten international steigt auf ihr Arbeitsleid. Was wird sein, schon der Letzte, in entscheidender Streit, mitten international steigt auf ihr Arbeitsleid. Der Arbeitsmann wird sein mit dem Schule, versprechen auf der ganzen Erde. In welcher sitten die Mabule, bekommen welchen sein Schwert. Die Geister stützen die Welt, nur für Tyrannen schrecklich sein. Sie können aber nicht verstehen, für uns die helle Sonnenschein. Was wird sein, schon der Letzte, in entscheidender Streit, mitten international steigt auf ihr Arbeitsleid. Was wird sein, schon der Letzte, in entscheidender Streit, mitten international steigt auf ihr Arbeitsleid. Ooh, that was brilliant. How many languages did we have? Did anyone do something other than English or Yiddish? We had Spanish, we had French. Amazing. Excellent, excellent.
French.
We have French in the chat as well.
In Belgium, we have two languages.
Do we have any takers for the transliteration blessing? It is entirely in English. You don't. No, I think I would like you to be trans to do this one. Does anyone want to out themselves as trans?
Sorry, there you go. As a transsexual.
Blessed are we who share moans. Blessed are we who light candles for vigils. Blessed are we who ignite Molotovs for cop shops. Blessed are we who move to free ourselves.
Yes. Any takers for Yachatz, bread of affliction? Awesome.
Als 3 matzelen van Beheading Plague move on and break it in. The larger half is the command and the side of this one. The smaller half is the hegemony and is the bread of affliction. Folded and the remaining two what as we say, neglected, not needed by carrying out.
Afraid that any touch may cause a break. There are some ingredients we never receive. Tonight, let us bless our cracked surfaces and sharp edges, unafraid to see our brittleness and brave enough to see our beauty. Reaching for wholeness, let us piece together the parts of ourselves we have found and honor all that is still hidden.
כל דצריך ייתה פסח, השתה אחת, לשנה הבאה בעד ישראל, השתה הרבה, לשנה הבאה בני חורים.
So you can put the matzah down, but don't eat it yet. You're not supposed to eat it yet. So for those of us in the cafe, for those of you not in the cafe, for those of you at home, if you've broken the matzah in half, the smaller half, the larger half is the afikomen, and you set that aside to hide. But in the cafe, we have already hidden an afikomen, and you will all have the chance to hunt for it later after we have served the food. Please contain yourselves. I know it's very exciting. We now we're on to the 4 questions portion. I think it'd be really sick if we had 4 different people reading the 4 questions and then sort of answering the questions. Do we have any takers in the cafe or otherwise? Yes, okay, thank you.
On other nights, we focus on the injustices of the past and present. Tonight, we celebrate the present and dream about the future, the solidarity, and the communities for nurturing.
Can you read the next bit? Just trans.
On the other nights...
Oh, no, not the next bit, the pink part.
Oh, sorry. Trans people share what you love about trans community.
So if you're on the Zoom, maybe say something in the chat that's nice about trans community. And if you're in this space, then just say something nice also, out loud though, so we can all hear.
We're really funny.
People in the chat are saying how hot and sexy we are. Also true.
We have great arguments.
Great what?
We have great arguments.
We have great arguments.
Trans women have been at the cutting edge of art and music for like 30 years.
I'm just going to repeat that for the Zoom, that trans women have been at the cutting edge of art and music for like 30 years. Easily true. We've also got
created vaporwave. So.
Trans people created vaporwave. I don't, Mazel Tov or my condolences. We're resourceful. Oh, there's so much happening in the chat. I can't read it all, which is really amazing. Thank you. Okay, hang on. I do want to read these because it's all just really nice. Kept me alive over the past 2 years. We have great taste in music and art. We pop up everywhere like mushrooms. So someone presumably cis is complimenting us, saying we're all just incredible people. Trans people have taught me more than I ever thought I'd know about video games. We're beautiful. Our tenacity. Trans community has taught me more about working through problems and rejecting disposability politics than anywhere else in my life. Radical and utter acceptance plus communism jokes. We turn other people trans. Don't tell them. How we support each other despite our differences, how open we can be with one another. Trans community wrote this genius seder. That is true. Yes, we turn other people trans and we create a space for ourselves. How in tune we can be with nature and other people. It's just still happening. So I think let's do the next question though. Can someone else please read it? If you're on Zoom and you want to read it, just like make it happen. Just unmute yourself and talk. This is anarchism, baby.
On other nights, we put a lot of effort into bolstering each other with compliments. Tonight, we extend the same kindness to ourselves. Trans people, put compliments to others and compliments to yourself, anonymous or otherwise. I'm very bad at doing that, so.
Compliment each other, please. Forced compliment time. I think everyone here is very good looking and smart for coming to our seder. Genuinely though, thank you for being here.
It's just gonna yeah, which is why I don't mind
I can do question 2. Including people.
Okay, I don't want to interrupt all the complimenting, but I'm going to interrupt all the complimenting because we can continue to compliment over dinner. Bring it in, bring it in. If I shush in the microphone, does it work? Please be quiet. Please, 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 please. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna do. There's lots of nice compliments in the chat as well about how you're not allowed to be ugly and trans. It's just not. It's part of the rules. It's not possible. Okay, can we have someone on Zoom has offered to read the third question? We're ready now.
Yes. On other nights, we are expected. Sorry. Do you want to go and I'll take question 4?
Okay. Yeah. On other nights, we are expected to be articulate. Tonight, we burden ourselves and read from script. Everybody make a noise. May we suggest screaming into the void.
Everyone on the Zoom, I'm sorry you didn't get to hear that amazing scream. Okay, we're ready for the fourth question now, Zoom.
Okay.
Friend.
On other nights, we mask and try to pass and make our genders legible to cis people. Tonight, we are literally just vibing. Everybody, please continue to vibe.
Joe, can you turn back the page? We had a tech problem here. You got cut off by the feedback from the PA screaming at us. So on other nights, we mask and try to pass and make our genders legible to cis people. Tonight, we're literally just vibing. Everybody, please continue to vibe. I'm gonna read this part. So remember to oh shit, we should have put out pens and paper for all of you in person. I'm sorry we didn't. It was a bit rushed. But write down or note down any questions you have so you can ask them during dinner. Here's some extra questions for cis people, but please keep the answers to yourself. In the next year, how will you, yes you, be comrades in the fight for trans liberation? How will you intentionally betray cisness? Please do come up with answers, but please also keep them to yourself. Just do the thing. Don't tell us you're going to do the thing. Though, I'm going to read some suggestions that we came up with when making the seder, and then I'd really love to hear other people's suggestions on what cis people can do to be better comrades to trans people. You could give us money. Always a favorite. You could do mundane things to make our lives easier. You could mass report TERFs online so that we don't have to. Buy our cab rides home. Loudly disown trans folks who refuse to be educated. Organize a general strike centered on trans demands. Burn every copy of The Guardian, The Daily Mail, The Sun, The Times, The Telegraph, The Morning Star, or whatever the TERF rags are where you live. Make transphobia have consequences. What do we think, comrades? Comrade trans people, do we have other suggestions?
Don't talk about Harry Potter.
Stop talking about Harry Potter.
Loot everything.
Yes. You could transition.
I'm going to read aloud some of these from the chat. So can cis people please stop immediately asking our pronouns the first time they meet us? Many can feel instantly outed or forced to oppose their gender too soon. Yeah, just don't do that unless you do that for everybody, which we know you don't. You could be gay and do crimes. I really think you should just transition though. That's my recommendation. If you have more suggestions, feel free to put them in the chat or to tell each other later at dinner. Would somebody like to read the Megiddo, the Exodus story? It's very, very abridged. Yes.
It's only one page.
All right.
The Exodus story.
The Exodus story. The Jews were slaves in Mitzrayim.
The Jews were slaves.
God came to Moses as a burning bush and said, "Free your people." Moses was reluctant, but God insisted. Moses went to Pharaoh and said, "Let my people go." Pharaoh said, "No," heart emoji. Some people don't know what to take an L. And God brought 10 plagues upon Mitzrayim, and after the death of his firstborn, Pharaoh said, "Fine, go." After the Jews left, Pharaoh changed his mind, and his army pursued them. Moses parted the Red Sea, and the Jews safely crossed. The army was drowned. The Jews wandered in the desert for 40 years, sustained by manna and Miriam's well, and eventually reached Mount Sinai, where a bunch more stuff happened. We don't want to necessarily be here all night. Shout me out if you want to be here all night. Three conclusions from the Exodus story. Wherever you live, it's probably Mitzrayim. There is a better place, a promised future, and the way to this promised future is through the wilderness. There is no way to get there except by joining together and marching. I do recommend people read the non-abridged version. It's pretty good. There's a bush, there's a baby in a river. It's pretty great.
The Prince of Egypt. The Prince of Egypt is a pretty good unabridged or less abridged version. Okay, so it is now time, dear kitchen darlings, for the second cup to be poured. So they're coming. Excellent. So for those of you in the Zoom where it's just, sorry, in this real life space with like 30 or 40 people or whatever, it takes time for us to pour cups in everybody's cup. Don't drink it yet. Don't. Pour yourself a cup, but don't drink it yet. I like this second cup of espresso. Hi, Sasha. How are you? What do you, so while they're doing their stuff, I'm going to talk to you guys. What do you do for like kosher for Passover breakfast? What do you have? Because we've been having matzah brai, but like we're not eating kitniot either because we're doing it on like really hard mode. So our matzah brai is kind of just like matzah mush. What's torta espangola?
So it's a potato and egg situation.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we should just have, that's a good idea. Sort of like, ooh, it'd be really good. It's sort of like breakfast burrito with like soft matzah and potatoes and like vegetables and shit. That would be nice. Hash browns.
Going really hard on the potatoes.
Palestinian tahini lentil dish. That sounds really good. I can't have tahini because it's kitniot.
Homemade pancakes with almond meal. That sounds good. Shakshuka. I feel like I've had shakshuka before, but I can't remember. Hang on. Matzo tatty scones sounds really good. Banana pancakes with banana and eggs. That sounds nice, except that I'm vegan, so I've like had fucking eat very much during peysakh. Yeah, maybe like an almond, but like I could make a banana pancake out of almond meal or something like that. I'm gonna go get almond meal like tomorrow for sure. Hi Miles. So my outfit, okay. Oh. I'm sorry, that's all you get, because the camera is really close. And I'm trying to keep everyone else out of camera because they don't want to be on camera necessarily. Oh, good. Hi, Miles. Okay.
How are we doing? Does everybody have juice? Does everybody have this? Does anybody not have their second cup? Okay. All right, we're gonna carry on. Carry on my wayward son. Sorry. Does anybody want to read the 10 plagues? This is a really fun one. All right, I'll do it. I'll have fun. Okay. So you've poured your second cup. You've not drinking it yet. Hold on for just another minute. I know you're very thirsty. We recite the 10 plagues before our Seder feast. We remember that our freedom was won through the suffering of others. Jews have been troubled by this for generations and generations. And so before we drink to our liberation, we mark how the suffering diminishes our joy by taking a drop of water or juice or wine out of your cup for each of the 10 plagues visited on the people of Mitzrayim. For each plague that I announce, dip your pinky finger into your beverage and then spill a drop of it on the rim of your plate, like on your salad plate. Okay. Dam, blood. Saphardea, frogs. Kinim, lice. Aroiv, wild beasts. Dever, blight upon cattle. Shchin, boils. Barad, hail. Arba, locusts. Choyshech, darkness. Makas, the choires, death of the firstborn. Now, alternatively, if you're not feeling the somber vibe, the plagues are a how-to list for overthrowing an oppressive regime. Come up with 10 plagues for billionaire transphobes. You can shout them out or put them in the chat, and I will relay the best ones to the other side.
Stuck in space.
Oh, stuck in space.
Ratio.
Ratioed. Is getting ratioed a plague?
Like every day.
Oh, every day. Constant ratios. Constant ratios. It's everything they say all the time, not even just on like Twitter. In-person ratios. Okay.
She just like says, "Oh, the sky is blue," and then everyone's like, "Ratio."
Ratio. Okay, I like that. That's a good one.
Of gender neutral piss.
What? A reign of gender neutral piss. That's a really good plague.
People don't see you by finding your address on Google Maps.
I need to interact with trans people in person.
Having to, no, that's not a plague. That's a blessing. It's a blessing they don't deserve. Okay, we've got from the chat, we've got, if they tweet, they die instantly. Oh my God, there's so much here actually. Legos and shoes. The beheading plague, that's quite a good one. I like this. Itching forever, yeast infection, guillotines. We're really into beheading and strike. Lots of strike mentions in here as well. General strike. Eternally needing to sneeze but not being able to. Transition or pay taxes. Having to go to the job center. Being followed by tubas playing silly music forever. Cleaning other people's toilets. All the yachts sink. The richest person on earth dies every 24 hours. Watch how long it takes to figure out and watch them fumble to get rid of their money as fast as possible. That's a really good one. We've got, I don't know what billionaire brisket is. Is this we're making a brisket out of billionaires?
Eat the rich.
All of their NFTs get funged.
Nobody watches that crappy movie.
No one watches their crappy movies.
I was going to say, number of the movie fails and continues to slide into irrelevance. It's not just one billion.
Slide into irrelevance generally, but especially the Dumbledore one. Every time they talk, they sound like Charlie Brown adults. All right. Okay, these are great. These are great. I want us to move on because I'm getting hungry and I think you are too. Oh, fuck, it's already, we should have been eating by now. Okay, we're gonna speed strats for quick seder. 80% speed run. Okay, I'm gonna read this, but if you would like to read at any point, I'm just gonna say this once now. Like raise your hand or put your name in the chat, and then like I'll call on you, I guess, because I think that's faster than fumbling before every blessing. So the second cup. This cup is for those who fought back, the stirring of the unchosen. The water in this cup is strong enough to carve the great canyons from solid rock. The water in this cup gave our people the courage to rise up at Stonewall and Compton's cafeteria. We drink this cup to remember them and be inspired by them. As we drink in this cup, we take in its power. Blessed are we in the presence of life, which ripens like the fruit on the vine. Or blessed is water, the wellspring of life. Blessed are we in the presence of living waters. Have a drink now. Okay, it's not, yes. So this is a little, this next bit, this Red Sea bit, is a little ritual that we nicked out of a different Haggadah from like the 90s. And I don't know if they came up with it or if they nicked it from something too. But those of you in the cafe, you should be getting now little tea saucers, and we're going to fill those with water to represent the Red Sea. And you should also be getting little tea lights. Thank you. And if you have a lighter or matches of your own, that would be helpful, but also we have one and we can pass it around. So I'm going to, Elaine, can you dim the lights? I'm going to read this bit while those get passed out. Okay, so if you are at home, fill your small tray with wine or grape juice or water to represent the Red Sea. Dim your lights. In the story we retold, we remind ourselves that God parted the sea for the Jews as Pharaoh's army was bearing down on them. Before the sea parted, Nashon was the first person to step into the waters. He walked into the water up to his knees, and the sea did not part. He walked in up to his thighs, and still it did not part. He walked in until the water reached up to his nose, and finally the sea parted. We are inspired by Nashon's act of faith and by his belief that the waters would part for him if he took a big enough risk. We think now about the visions of a redeemed world for which we are willing to take risks over the coming year. Reflect on the visions for which you are willing to take risks. Light a tea light candle and place it into your little red sea. I've got one. You see, you can't see this, but there's a tea light in there. That's quite cute, actually. I'm so sorry I was muted that whole time. Let's do it again. Fuck it. Beetroots aloft. Okay, those of you at home, I want to see your beetroots aloft in the grid, a beetroot grid. Okay, together we read. Also, unmute yourselves. Is that gonna cause mad feedback problems? Don't unmute yourselves. I'm really sorry, please don't. Okay, here we go. We are building trans power. We keep each other safe. Fuck capitalism. Put your beetroot down.
Capitalism.
Amen. Oh, potatoes are good. Potatoes are a good substitute. Someone only had a potato. Vegetables of all kinds unite. Do we have any takers for reading this? 3, 2, I'm going to read it. Okay. It's time to wash off the effects of patriarchal erasure and the erasures which result from all other oppressive systems. As we wash our hands, we remember the sacred work of trans people, so often rendered invisible, and we uplift our stories for the sake of collective liberation. Now, we still only have the one sink that you guys can use. Please run your hands quickly under the water. I will recite the blessing slowly so that hopefully you all get a little bit of blessing. Please start going. Let's make it happen. Those of you at home, it's time to wash your hands. Here we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu. Just keep the sing on. There we go. Oh my God, they're really doing it. They're filing in and out really quick. Kidshanu v'mitzvosav
Slower, my grandfather could do it slower.
Great. We did it. Would anyone like to read about the olive? Okay. Content note for Israeli occupation, mentions of slavery and prison. For slavery to truly be over, for a people to truly be free, we must know that we can feed ourselves and our children today, tomorrow, and into the following generations. In Palestine, olive groves provide this security. When olive groves are destroyed, the past and future is destroyed. Without economic security, a people can much more easily be conquered or enslaved. Since the beginning of the Intifada until February 2002, 34,606 olive and fruit trees have been uprooted in Palestine. We don't have current statistics, but we know that the Israeli apartheid continues to destroy Palestinian land and lives. This year, we eat an olive to make real our understanding of what it means each time a bulldozer plows up a grove. Without the taste of olives, there will be no taste of freedom. I'm going to read the godless translation. Blessed are we who release prisoners, divide seas, and breach barriers, sound a big shofar for our liberty, and carry out a miracle to gather us in exile, and gather us in quickly from the four corners of the earth to the land. Return them to the land, they will return. Blessed are they in their expulsion and in their return. Cry freedom, let judgment roll like a wave upon Jerusalem. Now, eat an olive. They have pits. Okay. Emily, would you like to read the next bit, please?
Sure, I'm just chewing olive. Holding up the matzah. Baruch atah Adonai Elokeinu melech haolam hamotzi lachem min haaretz. Blessed are we who break bread brought forth from the earth. And eat some matzah.
Okay, I have a mouthful of matzah, but I'm going to read the next bit. Dip or mix the maror in a charoset and recite blessing. So, for those of you who don't know, the charoset is the ball of nuts and fruit and stuff. I know somebody has a nut allergy. Raise your hand for the kitchen and they will bring you out. Raise it higher so they see you. It's pistachio and yeah, we'll get you a nut-free one. Did you hear that, kitchen? They did, okay. So the sticky ball is a charoset, and the horseradish, which is the yellow goo. I'm really good at running a food business. So mix those things together, and then get ready to eat it with this blessing, which we say together. If you would like to join me. Baruch atah Adonai Elokeinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilas maror. So, the maror stimulates our senses. Let us use it as a stimulus to action to remind us that the struggle is better than complicit acceptance of injustice. We taste the bitter herbs and recognize the bitter consequences of exploitation, the loss of lives, and the waste of the powerful potential of all people. Now eat it without reclining. Okay, let's move on. Joe, can you swap the, thank you. Okay. I'm going to read again. Oref, the Hillel sandwich. Oh, hang on. So we've had a question about. I think that the fruit allergy. I think that the haroset has dates, apples, and pears in it. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, that's a good substitute. Okay. So now you're gonna, if you're sitting with somebody else, whether you're here or in the Zoom void, take some maror and haroset and put them between two pieces of matzah, if you're physically together, and give the sandwich to the person on your left. So make a little sandwich for somebody else. I'm going to read aloud while you all do that. In doing this, we recall our sage Hillel, head of the Sanhedrin, the Supreme Council of Yisrael, the 1st century BCE, who, in remembrance of the loss of the temple, created the korech sandwich. He said that by eating the korech, we would taste the bitterness of slavery mixed with the sweetness of freedom. This practice suggests that part of the challenge of living is to taste freedom even in the midst of oppression, and to be ever conscious of the oppression of others, even when we feel that we are free. Now, if you will please read with me. If I am not for myself, who will be for me? But if I am for myself only, what am I? If not now, when? Perhaps it reminds us of aspects of these very communities or of ourselves. Bitter and craft surfaces give way to sharp, fresh evidence of our labors in the world, tempered with a sweetness combined from many sources. We are bitter and sweet, stubborn and giving. It is with our diversity that we begin our festive meal. Eat the sandwich while reclining, and now it's time to eat. Yay, we did it. Dinner is meant to last an hour, but we are, oh, thank you. Look at my left. This is my little sandwich I got. But we are about a half hour behind schedule, and for that, I'm supremely sorry. So I think we'll probably make dinner more like 45 minutes. But the kitchen crew is gonna come and bring you your proper dinner soon. And those of you in the Zoom, we are gonna start some breakout rooms for you. And like I said before, people in person, if you wanna join those, you're welcome to. So the breakout rooms are flirty 18 and over, Yiddish language, general chat, which will include food chat, I'm sure, and politics. So don't talk about heavy politics shit in the not politics chat. The breakout rooms will not be recorded, and they will not be captioned, and they will not be modded. So unless you've got like, if you have a real problem with something happening in the breakout rooms, then like do bring it to our attention, but we're not going to have mods on. They are going to be taking a break, and it will not be captioned. So thank you, Rocky. You are hereby relieved until we come back, which will be in about 45 minutes. So that's going to be at 9:15. We're going to come back at 9:15. Hello, hello, hello. We are returning from dinner, and now we are resuming the seder. It's not over yet, but hopefully now you're not hungry anymore. You've overcome the hardest part of the oppression of the seder, of the Haggadah. Joe, are you there? Can you turn our page? We're on page 43, and we're just gonna continue going kind of zippy because we're supposed to close at 10, and I don't know if that's gonna happen. And we're happy to stay a little bit later, but I really want to respect the time of the staff and also the time of the people who are expecting it to end at 10. Okay, so like I said before, if you would like to read, I would really, really welcome that. Just sort of raise your hand at any point, and I'll try to notice, and then I'll pass you the mic. And if you're on the Zoom and you would like to read, then please just say in the chat that you would like to read. Okay, so tough one. We've kind of already done this, but during dinner, hunt for the Afikomen. And we have a winner. We found the Afikomen. Let's have a little clap. Excellent. Okay. So there is an abundance of matzah, it turns out. I thought there was a shortage, but you have shown me otherwise. The seder cannot end without everyone tasting the afikomen. Now, all of the matzah that you've been eating is also the afikomen in our seder. I'm just gonna say that real quick, but there is true afikomen somewhere. Is the true afikomen still over there? Yeah. So if you would like to taste that, you may. Traditionally, whoever finds it is expected to hold it for ransom for a finder's fee. Sometimes finders organize into a collective of finders and negotiate for the best deal. Once it's found and released, distribute it for dessert to conclude the feast. Today we are separated. Tomorrow we will be reunited whole once more. Okay, blessing after the meal. Please recite with me. Birch Rachamana Merai Dachai Pita. And now it is time for the third cup. I am informing the kitchen.
Did they get that? I can't. Okay. I love you guys. This is a blessing to ourselves and our survival. We must love ourselves, for we are holy. Let us take this moment to honor our bodies, our lives, and our communities. Let us honor all the things that have made us who we are, the pain and the pleasure. Let us savor our bodies in all their uniqueness, our skins and our bones, all of our different strengths and sizes, the places that look and move in ways unique to us. Note the places that hurt, the places we struggle with, the places that are more challenging, that are changing and unfurling. Note the parts that have come down to us from our ancestors, the parts we have been taught to hate, the parts we have been taught to love. What? Can you hear me? Oh, everybody says no.
No, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Someone can hear me.
I can hear you.
Someone can hear me. I don't know why.
I can hear you too.
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna continue. Maybe the mods can support with tech troubles. They are working on it, they say. I'm gonna continue reading the third cup while the kitchen staff continue pouring the third cup. They're done, excellent, okay. We are beautiful. Let us never forget that caring for ourselves as we would care for our most precious and beloved is part of creating the world we want to live in. And now we say a blessing over the water or juice or wine. Let us bless the wellspring of life, creator of the universe, who made the living waters. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, bari pre hagafen. I now need from the kitchen Elijah's cup. So this is one of the best parts of the Seder, in my opinion, because it's where we invite an ancient ghost to drink with us. Is he a ghost? Is he a vampire who needs to be invited in? He is definitely like really old. Is he reincarnated? I want to hear your opinions about what is Elijah's deal, if you know who I'm talking about.
He's like James Bond.
He's like James Bond. I like that. There's a new Elijah every time. Okay.
Well, they say every generation there's the possibility for Hashem. So like every generation has a possibility for Elijah.
Every generation there's a possibility for Elijah, is what we hear. Okay. In the 9th century BCE. Oh, we have a raised hand. Oh, please do.
In the 9th century BCE, a farmer arose to challenge the domination of the ruling elite and his tireless and passionate advocacy on behalf of the common people and his ceaseless exposure of the corruption and waste of the court. Eliyahu sparked a movement and created a legend which would inspire people for generations to come. Before he died, Eliyahu declared that he would return once each generation in the guise of a poor or oppressed person, coming to people's doors to see how he would be treated by the treatment offered this poor person, who would be Eliyahu himself. He would know whether the population had reached a level of humanity, making them capable of participating in the dawn of Ha'olam Haba, the Messianic Age, or AKA the Revolution. The Ha'olam Haba is in our hands every day. We bring it closer by organizing, caring for the most vulnerable, and caring for ourselves.
Rory, will you open the door and see if Elijah is there? If he is, please let him in.
Yeah. There was a person who just walked past. You might just missed Elijah.
Okay. We all toast now together, yeah? To the end of capitalism, to the renationalization of many things, to public health, to anarchism, to the future. Woo! Okay.
Would you like to keep reading? You can carry on if you want.
The story has always been told of a miraculous well of living water, which has accompanied the Jewish people since the world was spoken into being. The well comes and goes as it's needed, and as we remember, forget, and remember again how to call it to us. In the time of the Exodus from Mitzrayim, the well came to Miriam in honor of her courage and action, and stayed with the Jews as they wandered the desert. Upon Miriam's death, the well again disappeared.
So this is Miriam's cup.
Okay. With this ritual of Miriam's cup, we honor all trans people and other women whose histories have been erased. We commit ourselves to transforming all of our cultures into loving spaces for people of all genders. Smash the binary gender system. 1 million genders for 1 million people.
Woo! I'm filling it until it overflows. Yay! Okay.
Would anybody aside from me like to lead us into Loi Police? Or shall I do it? Okay. It is time for the Loi Police.
So
this song is really speedy. For those of you who don't know it, you will not be able to sing the English. That is just so that you know what we're saying. You can try, I suppose, but I've never heard anyone successfully sing the song in English. If you would please, you're strongly invited to sing with me in Yiddish. If that's not comfy for you, then definitely come in for the hey, hey, the Loi Police. Deloy Summoners Vayech Vrase, but just at least hey, hey, to locally say, and then it feels like we're all doing it together, okay? Okay, can you hear me on Zoom?
Yep.
Excellent, here we go. I'll try not to do it too fast, but it's a really fast song. In alle Gassen, wo man geht, hört man Sabberstoffkes, jinglich Mädlich, Kind und Kind, jinglich Mädlich, Kind und Kind, schmusen von Privokkes, genug schon Glieder, Horrorwand, genug schon Bogenleien, macht das Oberstoffke, Lome Brüder sich befreien, macht das Oberstoffke, Lome Brüder sich befreien, Brüder und Schwester, Lomer sich geben die Hand, Lomer Boris Johnson zu brechen die Wand. Hey, hey, Daloi Police, Daloi Summoners Vayech Brase. Hey, hey,
There's no grape juice in the whole
Daloi Summoners Vayech Brase. Brüder und Schwester, Lomer zu Neuflufen, zusammen wir sind stark, alle aufschießen. Hey, hey, Daloi Police, Daloi Summoners Vayech Brase. Hey, hey, Daloi Police, Daloi Summoners Vayech Brase. Brüder und Schwester, Lomer sich nicht irrtzen, Lomer Boris Johnson, die Yorkele verkehrt-sin. Hey, hey, Daloi Police, Daloi Summoners Vayech Brase. Hey, hey, Daloi Police, Daloi Summoners Vayech Brase. Nächten hat geführt, a Wegela mit. Heinz ist geworden, a capitalist. Hey, hey, Daloi Police, Daloi Summoners Vayech Brase. Hey, hey, Daloi Police, Daloi Summoners Vayech Brase. Brüder und Schwester, Lomer gehen zusammen, Lomer Elizabeth, begroben mit der Mammen. Hey, hey, Daloi Police, Daloi Summoners Vayech Brase. Hey, hey, Daloi Police, Daloi Summoners Vayech Brase.
Gabber Soldaten op von die Pferd, die Englischer Malka liegt schon in Geerd. Hey, hey, Daloi Polizei, Daloi Summoners Riot, Vrasse. Hey, hey, Daloi Polizei, Daloi Summoners Riot, Vrasse. Woo! Thank you. The Queen is dead. Long live no one. Long live no one. Okay. I would really like for someone else to read Lo Dayenu. It's real good. We're not singing the Dayenu song. It's just like yeah. This is just a poem, kind of a prosy poemy thing. Do we have any takers? Oh, excellent. Please go ahead.
Content note: trans healthcare, bathrooms, TERFs. Lo Dayenu, it is not enough. Trans people on magazine covers, trans magazine editors, trans magazine girl bosses. Lo Dayenu. Trans protection in hate crime bills. Lo Dayenu. Decent diversity monitoring checkboxes. Lo Dayenu.
Lo Dayenu.
All TERFs permanently banned from political parties and Twitter. Lo Dayenu.
Lo Dayenu.
Ex-gender markers. Lo Dayenu. Removing gender markers from legal documents. Lo Dayenu.
Lo Dayenu.
Genuinely accessible gender-neutral bathrooms. Lo Dayenu. Trans-positive education at all ages. Lo Dayenu. The security to go outside and mince in full flamboyant glory. Lo Dayenu. Healthcare free at the point of access. Lo Dayenu. Trans-specific services run by trans people. Lo Dayenu. Hormones and puberty blockers given over the counter and free of charge to anyone who requests them. Lo Dayenu. Wages for transition. Lo Dayenu. We demand these things and more. Reform. Lo Dayenu. We accept nothing short of liberation.
You're muted right now.
Would anyone like to read the fourth cup, or shall I?
Yes, please.
Yes. Whether you're on your fourth cup of wine or your fourth cup of water, hopefully you are feeling pretty relaxed. During our seder, we've mentioned many people who currently and historically are still struggling for freedom. And there are so many more we haven't had space to mention. Thinking about the pain and suffering in the world, about how few people in it are actually free, is exhausting and can itself become a prison. As we raise a glass, we allow ourselves a moment of freedom from the constant struggle, a moment to celebrate everything that has already been achieved, even though there is still so much to be done.
Let's wait a little bit. We're waiting while everyone's cups get filled up. Take this moment, those of you at home, to fill up your cups and relax. I hope you like these private little asides I have with you. The rest of the cafe can't really hear me.
We do, it's very exciting.
Here, I'm going to show you this is some of the art that was in our Haggadah. It's Miriam. This is by Ephraim Moses Lillian.
This one's really cool. That's the first time I've seen this one.
We have this digital art by they used to go by different names, but now I believe they go by J Smith, and they're on Instagram, and they do really sick art that looks like this. Here's another one by J Smith. It's really nice, isn't it?
Look what I just found lying around on my table.
Here's the one that if you're joining us online, you've probably seen this all over our social media. This is Claude Calhoun. This piece is called The Claude Calhoun, which is it's a self-portrait. It's a photograph that they did in 1929
and it's sick as shit, isn't it? Claude is was a resistance like artist during the Nazi occupation of France, and they are also very most likely trans, and they were definitely queer. They had a lover and artist partner who was a woman, and they made like so much anti-Nazi art propaganda that when the Nazis tried to bring them to court in France over it, they were sure that it was a much larger operation than just the two of them, but it was in fact just the two of them. So they like really pissed off the Nazis, which is good. You should look up more interesting, cool stuff about them. They are called Claude Cahun. I'm going to put that in the chat for anyone who doesn't know them. Does everybody have their stuff now? Yes.
Say a blessing over the water or juice wine. So I'm going to do the Ashkenazic feminine version. Nevarach es ein ha-chayim, Yoitzeres es ha'olam boreis mayim chayim. And over the juice wine, Urchaya Shekhinah, Eloseinu malkas ha'olam boraya pri hagafen.
Amen.
Take a sip of your drink.
Kneel, dance, scream. The Hasidic Rabbi Menachem of the Rabbi Menachem once declared, 3 things are fitting for us: upright kneeling, motionless dancing, and silent screaming. Kneeling is not only a matter of physical posture, it can also be a spiritual attitude. Thus, we can kneel even when we are upright. A person can stand erect and feel humility and reverence in their hearts. Dancing is not only a matter of outward movement, it can also be an inner mood. We can dance motionless. Prayer is not always articulate. Often it is the unspoken yearning alone. We can cry it silently. Kneel, dance, scream. We know these things.
Okay, and we very quickly have moved on to the 5th cup, which not all seders have a 5th cup, but ours does. Yeah, extra more cup for your seder. There's some kind of good like boob joke or something in there. This is the 5th cup for the future. This cup is for those yet to come. The water in this cup is clear, but this isn't the cup of invisibility. It's a cup that holds clarity of sight, clear hearts, clear minds, and clear actions. This cup flows out from the Compton's cafeteria rise and all of our attempts at liberation. It flows out from what we are doing here tonight, and it celebrates those who will follow us in this journey, our children and their children, physical and spiritual. This cup we drink with certainty, knowing that our journey is right, our path is given, our purpose is strong, and our fulfillment is inevitable because it springs from the power of love. How juiced are we? Does everybody have juice? Yes, mostly yes? Okay. Nevarach et ein ha-chayim, yozer et ha-olam, boretz mayim chayim. Or Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, bari prei hagafen. And I'm going to read this last one because this is our last page. We're nearly done. I forgot that the second half of the Seder is so much shorter than the first half. Okay, Nirtza. We have spent the evening centering transness. We have witnessed and nourished each other by focusing on our healing in our communities. We have continued the work of repairing the world. Nirtza means we will want, we will run, or we have satisfied. The Seder has ended, but our desire has not. We want something more,
We want this work and love we did now to spill out into the real world beyond the space of the Seder. Now, please join me in reading one of these blessings aloud and with vigor. So I want them to unmute themselves. What does that mean though for me? Okay. Okay, here we go. So please unmute yourself.
And then we're gonna say it all together. They're into it. They're into it. Is someone outside is shouting? Okay. Next year, we all live in a world of peace. Jerusalem, Glasgow.
Next year in Glasgow.
Can we have some music now, Lane?
Thank you. Thank you so much that's it. That's the Seder is over. Yay.
Thank you, everyone.
I am going to put some links in the chat for those of you on the Zoom. If you want a link to the Haggadah, it is there. Please, if you have not, or if you can again, or if you can at all, donate us some money to help cover the costs of all of these things. We want to keep doing events like this, which means we need to pay for them. Sorry, that link is bad. Let me do another one. And if I could just give a real big shout out to all of the crew. Can we have a clap for them? Because they've done an amazing job. We've got, so on the Zoom, we've got Rocky Cohen, who's doing the incredible live captioning. And we've got my mom, Stacy, and Safar, who have done the chat modding, who are here with us in the room. We've got Joe, who did the screen sharing. I think that's all of our tech crew. And then we've got Lane, who's done the lights and the music. We've got Rory on the door, keeping us all safe. And then in the kitchen, we've got Hugh and Nerese and Molly. There's no one else back there, is there? Eliza. And Eliza was here earlier, but she's gone now because she has other commitments. And then there's me. And thank you so much for being here with us. Oh, and I'd be really remiss to not mention Bracken, who made the majority of the food. They're not here, but they made most of the food today, and they obviously did an amazing job. So the other thing I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to stick in the chat and also in emails to all of you is a feedback form. And if you could just tell us how great this was, but genuinely, and anything that we could do to make it better, that really helps us. Obviously, constructive feedback helps us improve the events, but also positive feedback helps us apply for funding so that we can like pay ourselves and shit. Because right now everybody's working as a volunteer, and that we cannot continue to do forever. So the feedback is a really good way of helping us get money without you having to actually give us money. And then like rich people can give us money instead. So that's even better. By filling out the feedback form and telling us how important we are to you and how we like, it's an inclusive space and it's full of intersectionality and whatever other buzzwords funders like. Diversity. Oh, no, what is it? There's like self-sustaining communities. The word community is really sexy to funders right now. So that's a good one to throw in there. Anyway, if we could just get one more round of applause for everybody who's worked really hard to make this happen. Thank you people. Here is my face very close up. It's been lovely to share this event with all of you across the whole world. Somebody's literally just joined the Zoom. Hello, someone who's literally just joined the Zoom. We're almost, it's over now. Is it Elijah? Is that you, Elijah? Okay, we're gonna keep the Zoom open for another 15 minutes so that you can like get everybody's phone numbers and shit and like cruise each other up later. And we're going to keep the cafe open for probably another half hour. We're going to clear your tables, and then if you want any coffee or tea or more juice or water or whatever, we will bring that to you. But hopefully you're not hungry anymore because we are done with the food portion of the night. Yes, Rory. Yes, if anybody, hey, listen, this is important. Maybe to some people it's important. If you want someone to accompany you to your nearby home or to your bus or your train, we can definitely arrange that so that you're not walking by yourself. If that's the thing you want, just let us know and we'll make that happen for you.